Have you ever wondered what really happens behind the shiny walls of a luxury cruise ship? While passengers sip cocktails by the pool and enjoy Broadway-style shows at night, there's a hidden world that most people will never see. A world where rules bend, secrets hide in plain sight, and even the crew themselves whisper about things they're never allowed to tell passengers. I used to work as cruise staff, and today, I'm about to reveal 5 shocking secrets that cruise companies never want you to know. By the end of this video, you'll never look at a cruise the same way again. But here's the catch. The last secret is so unbelievable that once you hear it, you'll question whether stepping on a cruise ship is even worth it. So stick with me till the end, because what you're about to discover will change how you see the open seas forever. From the moment you step onto a cruise ship, you're being watched, closer than you think. Yes, you check in with your ticket, they scan your card, and you assume that's just normal procedure. But what if I told you that the cruise line collects a full profile about you before you even set foot on board? Every cruise passenger is tracked with a special card or wristband. It's not just for opening your room or paying for drinks. It's connected to an advanced system that monitors your movements. Want to know how often you visit the buffet? The system knows. How many times you ordered drinks last night? Logged. Did you skip the safety drill? Marked. The craziest part? Crew members in certain departments have access to this data. As staff, we could literally pull up a screen and see which passenger spent the most at the bar, who was always late for dinner, and even who spent hours locked away in their cabin. And yes, there were times when gossip spread fast. I remember one cruise where a passenger always ordered champagne alone at midnight and never came out during the day. The crew started calling him the ghost of Deck 7. Passengers thought they were being mysterious, but the crew already knew their entire routine. Why does the cruise line do this? Simple. Money and control. The more they know about your habits, the easier it is to sell you things. If they see you love cocktails, suddenly you'll get special offers for unlimited drink packages. If they notice you skip shows, they'll tempt you with VIP seats. You think it's coincidence, but it's not. And here's the darker side. This surveillance isn't just about business. Security also uses it to flag suspicious behavior. People who argue too loudly, gamble too aggressively, or drink too much, they get silently marked. Once you're flagged, you're watched for the rest of the trip. Creepy, right? But hold on, because the next secret takes us even deeper into the hidden world of life at sea. Most passengers think a cruise ship is all about pools, theaters, casinos, and restaurants. What they don't realize is that what they see is just the surface. Beneath their feet lies a secret world that 99% of passengers never step into, a place crew members call the Crew City. This hidden world stretches across multiple decks below the waterline. Narrow hallways, cramped cabins, secret staircases. It's like a completely different universe. While passengers enjoy 5-star luxury, the crew lives in tiny bunk beds, often with 4 people sharing a room not much bigger than a closet. I remember the first time I was taken below deck. It felt like stepping into another reality. The smell of laundry mixed with the constant hum of machinery. Crew members rushing past with trays of food, piles of sheets, or tools for repair work. Everyone looked exhausted, but it was the only way the glamorous world above could function. There are also unspoken rules. Certain hallways were for officers only. Certain crew bars were off-limits to regular staff. And yes, there were entire rooms where surveillance cameras weren't installed because what happened there wasn't supposed to be seen. Parties, arguments, secret relationships, it all happened behind those doors. Now, here's the real shocker. While passengers thought they were in charge of their vacation, the crew always knew more than them. There were hidden passageways that allowed us to move from one side of the ship to the other without ever being noticed. Imagine sitting in the dining room, laughing with friends, while a waiter suddenly appears with your food because he just slipped through a hidden door 2 feet away. Passengers never knew these shortcuts existed, and they were designed that way. Because cruise companies don't want you to think about the hundreds of crew working behind the curtain to make your trip feel effortless. But here's where it gets even darker. If something went wrong, say a passenger had too much to drink or a fight broke out, It was the hidden cruise city that decided how to handle it. There were holding rooms where disruptive guests were kept. There were quiet meetings where decisions were made on whether to let someone off at the next port or keep them under watch until the end of the cruise. Think about it. While you're dancing at the nightclub upstairs, a whole different drama could be unfolding just a few decks below, and you'd never know. Most passengers assume that if something bad happens at sea, the same laws apply as on land. Wrong. Very wrong. Once you're in international waters, the cruise ship doesn't follow the laws of the country you boarded from. Instead, it follows the laws of the country where the ship is registered. And guess what? Most cruise lines don't register their ships in the US or Europe. They register them in countries like Panama, the Bahamas, or Liberia. Why? Because the rules are looser, taxes are lower, and it gives the companies more power. What does that mean for passengers? It means if something goes wrong, like theft, fights, or even serious crimes, it might not be investigated the way you expect. Local police can't just come on board in the middle of the ocean. In fact, in many cases, the ship's own security team handles everything internally until the next port. I'll give you an example. On one voyage, 2 passengers got into a heated argument after too many drinks. Things got physical. On land, the police would be called instantly. But at sea, the passengers were taken to a private room, spoken to by security, and then released with a warning. No official report, no criminal charges, nothing. It was as if it never happened. Now here's where it gets truly unsettling. Serious cases sometimes vanish into paperwork. If a crime is reported on board, the ship's company decides whether it gets shared with outside authorities. And since they don't want negative headlines, many cases stay buried. Imagine thinking you're protected by the same laws as at home, when in reality, you're in a gray zone where the cruise company has the final say. Passengers rarely know this, and if they did, some would think twice about boarding. One of the biggest reasons people book cruises is the food. Endless buffets, midnight snacks, 24/7 room service. It feels like a floating paradise for your appetite. But what if I told you that behind the polished presentation, there's a truth passengers are never supposed to see? Here's the reality. Cruise ships prepare food in massive quantities, sometimes enough for 6,000 people at once. That juicy steak you're eating? It may have been frozen for weeks. Those fresh pastries? Often pre-made in bulk and reheated. Even salads. Yes, the ones labeled farm fresh can be chopped and stored in chilled rooms days in advance. I remember working near the galley during a 2-week voyage. Every day, I'd see mountains of frozen boxes being wheeled in. Seafood labeled from different countries, vegetables stacked in crates, even desserts shipped in sealed containers. Sure, chefs made it look gourmet on the plate, but behind the curtain, it was an industrial operation. And then there's the darker side of food waste.